Hello, world. Welcome to our show, JW Raw with Eminem, coming to you live from the world-famous Jackson Week MMA Academy in Albuquerque, New Mexico, USA. Yes, we are in USA, Albuquerque. This is Mark, and I'd like to give a shout-out to our awesome partners that help us keep the show on the air and keep bringing you some interesting guests from different walks of life. Our fighters and athletes are constantly on the lookout for products that will provide a legal performance edge. Legal performance edge, yes. A couple years back, we came across a nutraceutical company that has an incredible technology. Since then, many of the fighters who train at Jackson Wink MMA Academy have been using their products with astounding success. Unlike most sports performance companies, this company began selling their products through doctors. Their unique technologies help the body heal and maintain exceptional health. For this reason, their products are recommended by doctors worldwide. Yes, worldwide. So how does this translate to sports performance? The truth is, you will never be stronger than you are healthy. How many times have we heard of star athletes who miss a big competition because they're out sick? The same technology that is used to boost the immune system and to detoxify, nourish, and rejuvenate the body is the same technology that boosts strength, endurance, and even cuts unwanted body fat, because we don't want to get fat. We are pumped to finally let you know about our best-kept secret here at Jackson Wink MMA Academy. The company is called RNA Sport. You can find them online at rnasport.com. Again, rnasport.com. Look them up. RNA Sport creates incredible sports performance formulas for elite athletes. Our fighters use and love these products. One of the most important things to know about RNA Sport formulas is their ease of use. It's very easy to use, yes. No more messy powders or hard-to-swallow pills. RNA Sport formulas are delivered directly into the body in a simple-to-take, great-tasting sprays. With high absorption, RNA Sport formulas can be taken immediately before a workout or competition with no lag time. RNA Sport formulas support increased strength and endurance, reduced joint and muscle fatigue, improved recovery, a healthy immune system, optimized metabolism, and a whole lot more. RNA Sport provides benefits and technology unlike any performance products you have ever experienced. I highly recommend you to check out rnasport.com and use their products. They will take your performance to the next level. In our next podcast, we will review the amazing benefits of their specific formulas. JW Raw is happy to also have Fireteam Fit as a longtime sponsor. They are a veteran-owned fitness company that is now partnered with the greatest gym in the world, Jackson Wink MMA Academy. Fireteam Fit is giving a special offer of 15% off. That is right, 15% off all their products, all of them. Go check it out, all their products. All you have to do is enter a code. The secret code is JWRAW015. Again, JWRAW, just like the show, 015. Enter that secret code. You're going to get 15% off everything you buy. Make sure you do that at checkout, and then you'll get that discount. We love having Fireteam Fit as a sponsor since they are family and veteran-owned. That is so cool. We love our veterans. We love our family. Both in one big, happy group. We're happy to have them. It's available on both fireteamfit.com and on amazon.com. Everyone knows how to find Amazon. If you're on Amazon, you're legit. You can go find them on Amazon or check out their website, fireteamfit.com. But don't forget to enter that coupon code. Remember, use JWRAW015.
You're listening to JW Raw with Eminem.
We're live.
Oh, yeah.
Welcome to the show, Steve Garcia and Mr. Steve Garcia Sr.
Hello, Garcia.
the twins.
Senior and junior.
So we got father son on the show. We're here to talk about Jackson,
main event.
Jackson Wink Fight Night 4, the main event. Steve is the main event. Yeah, we're looking forward to it. It's this is your first main card. Are you headlining it?
Yeah, it's actually my first one. I've been the co-main event like 3 or 4 times.
That's right.
But this is my first like actual like headliner against Abel Conlon. So I'm excited. And he's had a lot of fights and stuff. So I'm pumped.
So
I heard he fought in Pride and stuff, right?
Dream. He's fought in Pride. I was watching this. He was fighting.
It was a busy day. He's had like so many interviews. He's going
one after another.
I
think that's why they did it on purpose, man, because they know how hard to catch these guys. They're like at the UFC headquarters. They're probably like, "Yo, go!"
Well, I thought it was like a movie or something, because I know sometimes we do that here.
Yeah, it seems like it seemed like that. Yeah.
It was huge.
Yeah.
I'm just like,
and they barely coordinated with us. They like
there's literally 3 UFC crews here right now, and there's a Vegas UFC, there's a LA UFC, and then a kind of in between UFC. So
I couldn't find parking.
It was super confusing. Yeah,
that was my main goal.
The whole parking lot was
we had to tell Wink, instead of more dorms, we might need a parking structure.
We'll be building more behind.
Yeah, we have room back there. We are going to.
They'll be parking all around the building.
Yeah.
Eventually,
it's a popular place here in Albuquerque. I tell you that.
This is
like
our
coming
pro
over
team
here, man.
So tell us, Steve, when did you start fighting?
When I started fighting, I started fighting. I believe I started training when I was 15 years old. So I was like a freshman in high school. You can ask my dad, man.
Dad, is that something that you pushed him into doing? Were you a fighter, or how did this?
You know what? I'll tell you the story.
Okay.
Anyway, we got some time.
Pull that mic a little bit towards you. Just pull it.
So,
there you go.
I'm gonna run here. Okay.
Perfect.
Yeah. So around 15 years old, I was in high school, and I got 2 boys, and all they did was eat.
Imagine eat? What are you talking about? Come on.
These guys are skinny.
Come on, you got to tell the whole thing.
Yeah, that's about $200 to $300 a week in groceries for you 2. Yeah, it wasn't cheap. But anyway, every day he had his routine. He'd come home and run inside, hit the pantry, eat, play video games. And
I play ball. What you talking about?
A lot of video
Crazy.
games. Yeah.
Video games.
And one day he just he came in and ran upstairs, and said, "I wonder what that's about," So following day, same thing. Comes in through the front door, runs right upstairs into his room, slams the door, and I'm like, "What's up with this guy?" And so after the 3rd day, I was like, "No, something's not right." So I went up to his room and I said, "Hey, Steve, what's going on?" And he's just running up to your room, closing the door. He's like, "Nothing, Dad. Don't worry about it." So then right there, I was like, "Oh, something's going down. Maybe he's got a girlfriend." I didn't know what was going on. And so then the 4th day, same thing. So I went upstairs and I said, "Hey,
let's talk."
I said, we got to talk about this." I said, "What's going on?" And he says, "Dad, I told you nothing's going on. Just leave me alone." And so first of all, he never talks to me that way, and then he's never just short and abrupt. So I said, "You know what? I'm gonna make a visit to your school tomorrow." He's like, "Dad, you better not go. You better not do that." And then all of a sudden he starts changing. So just tell me what's going on,
Yeah.
And so then he says, I just got some issues at school." I said, "Like what?" He says, "Well, I got some guys that are chasing me. Some of these gangbangers and stuff." And I was like, "For what? What'd you do?" Or he's like, "I didn't do nothing." He said there was a fight out in the somewhere, and backpacks flew, somebody's iPod went flying. Well, there was a bunch of kids and stuff. Somebody picked up their stuff and took off with it, and they tried to blame it on me because I was sitting there with my friend. And I told him, I said, I don't need your iPod. I have my own. I don't steal. I said, I don't have your stuff. He said, "Well, you gonna buy me a new one?" And Steve's like, "No, I'm not buying you a new one." He says, "Yeah, you are." So I guess they chased him for a couple weeks. And so he was leaving school early. The bell would ring like at 3:30, and he was out the door at 3:15, leaving class. So
it sounds like a case of bullying was going on.
Yeah, it was honestly so. I mean, my dad, he knows like a touch of the whole story. He doesn't know the whole.
You
thing.
never did disclose the story.
I tell him
years
something,
later.
But, so like this is what happened. I was outside. I used to play baseball. Okay, so I was part of like this.
Where'd you go to school?
I went to Rancho High School.
Okay.
I played baseball, and so you had these like so-called friends, and we ended up we had different lunches. So I'll come down, I'll shake their hands, and I'll go to my next class. This guy comes in, he needs to confront somebody. long story short, he asked me to pretty much, I don't know if he asked me to hold his CD player or something like that. It was something like that.
It's Walkman.
And, yeah, it was weird. Yeah, it was super weird.
Walkman or
I was like, nah, man. I was like, I got class, man. I can't even hang out with y'all. So I come back down, and my so-called friends come out, and they're just like, hey, so-and-so's looking for you. And I'm like, all right, cool. I was like, why? And he's like, well, we told him that you stole a CD player, or I think it was a CD player or an iPod or something like that.
So they set you up.
Yeah, and I was like, you guys told him? And he's like, yeah, we ain't gonna mess with them. I'm like, and I got kind of pissed, and now I'm like, well, I said what I said to him. You know what I mean? I totally just cut myself off from that group of friends, and I come home, and kind of my dad said, I was pissed off. I didn't know what to do. I just didn't know, and I wasn't a school guy anyways. I hated school. You know what I mean? I couldn't stand it. But my dad could kind of tell, and eventually, they were hunting me or trying to find me or something like that, and I would try to find him too because he was always in detention, the dude that was trying to like get a hold of me. And so eventually the principal brings us in, and we finally we
squashed it.
Yeah, we squashed it, and I'm like, bro, like I think it was a CD player. I was like, dude, those are like $12 at the dollar store. I was like, do you want me to go buy you one? Is it that how bad you want it? You know what I mean? And he's like, no, I found out who it was. It was someone that stole it because I don't know, he stole it as lock or something like that. I was like, dude, like I ain't no thief, dog. I was like, I actually knew the guy a long time ago. We kind of grew up like seeing each other in the same classes and stuff. And he's like, no, we're good. And so like after that, because this guy had been in and out of juvie and just different things, he had stabbed somebody. And Jeez. That's the last thing I didn't want that,
Yeah.
So I talked to my dad, and I was like, Dad, you know what? And before that, I was starting to get into like some fights, and my dad's even like he almost called the cops on me because I was trying to get into a fight. We used to have the high school football games, and I thought he was bluffing, man, but he was calling the police trying to get someone situated. And so long story short, I asked my dad, I'm like, hey man, can we just learn how to defend myself, man? I was like, you know what, I seem to be getting into these situations. I'm not really causing them, but I'm not gonna back down from them either. And he's like, you know what, because I mean MMA wasn't big, so I was like, I need to get into boxing or something. You hear Danny Romero and Johnny Tapia, and
of course
boxing's
the
like
local
huge.
names, the legends, yeah.
And Holly, you know what I mean? So like this is what's big. And he's like, well, I know this guy named Lionel Lanham or something like that. And my brother and my dad did Shotokan with his dad, and he's like, he does like this martial arts combat stuff. And I was like, all right. I was like, I don't know. I was like, if it's gonna help me, then let's do it. That night, runs into him at Walmart.
Oh wow.
That night, I was like, all right, Jesus, you got me, God. Yeah. All right, we're good. This is what we're gonna do. The next day, and then Lionel invited me, say, hey, come to the gym, and I went the next day. I didn't really know what to expect. Just went in some basketball shorts, and I learned my first choke, and I didn't know anything else, so I just kept trying to put that choke on somebody. And
so what kind of school was it? Was it jiu-jitsu or what?
No, it was called the Jackson Satellite. So it was they had a class. It was 2 days a week. Lionel Lanham taught, and actually I started off with this guy named Nestor. It was Lionel Lanham, Victor, John Sparks was there, Shannon Curley. Some of these guys you kind of know around the town. And we would just get together. Lana would show like a few moves, and then we would just glove up and beat each other.
So it was like a Greg Jackson satellite? Is that what it's? Okay.
Yeah. It was like a Greg Jackson satellite. Wow. And we would have it, I think, Tuesdays and Thursdays.
It's like a family gym for beginners, right?
I'm sorry?
Like family gym for beginners and something like that?
I don't know, man. It was, like I said, we just got there, and we would just roll. Like, we'd roll and we'd fight, but it was out at Taekwondo school, too.
I never even heard about this place. That's cool.
Yeah. It was like, it was there for like 6 or 7 months. And then, I don't know, something happened and it fell off. Yeah. And then I went to like Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu for about 6 months. It was okay. I didn't really care for the place too much. It was like you were welcome, but you didn't feel welcome. You know what I mean? Like you're constantly fighting for just any notoriety or any attention. Any sort of attention. And the guy would he was just, I don't want to talk bad about anybody, but he had some issues. And so I left there, and then I went to Crucifix MMA. And Eric Crucifix was my first kickboxing coach, who was the student of Coach Wink.
Oh, wow.
And so I pretty much had the foundation of his Coach Wink style since I was 16 years old.
Wow.
And so I went with him for, I think, about 2 years, and it was off and on. A lot of issues there, too, as far as the consistency. But I think I had I had like 4 kickboxing fights. I had won a kickboxing title with him. I had an MMA fight. I remember like we even like kind of lied on our stuff because I fought I think 16, 17 years old at MMA, and it's illegal to fight until you're 18. But you know, it was fun, but I never thought I'd be competing. Like competing was crazy.
So at what point did you finally come to the pro gym at Jackson Wink?
So all right, so this is kind of like my timeline. I was at Eric Kusevich for about maybe a few years until my senior year. My grades started to slip, and my dad's like, "No, you're stopped. You're done.
No more
You're
of this
done.
nonsense,
You're stopped. You're
School's
not gonna
more
train
important."
anymore. You're not training anymore." He says, "Your grades are slipping. You're graduating." And I'm like, "All right, Dad, I got you." And so once I graduated, I came back, and the gym was kind of just like depleted. There was nobody really coming, and I was supposed to defend my title. And you know, my dad's like, "You're either gonna go to school, you're gonna go do military, or you're gonna go get you a job." He says, "You can't stay in my house and not do nothing." And I was like, "All right,
dad.
yeah, yeah."
That's the way it should
So
be.
he told
Those
me.
are tough. But
And so, because I told him, I was like, "I'll take a year off of school," because I told you I was not a school dude.
Yeah, yeah.
But I liked math. That was probably the only thing I could do. And
Wow.
yeah, that's probably the only thing I could do. But I told him, I was like, "All right, I'll make you a deal." I was like, "Let me train full time. No worries about any jobs, schooling, nothing like that." And I was like, "I'm gonna listen to the Marines right after I beat this guy in my title." And he's like, all right. Oh, that's a deal. So I started training. The coaching wasn't there, and I'm like, shoot, man. I was like, I only have one more fight left. I was like, I need to figure out something. And we had this guy named Sonny Garcia, and he knew Chris Luttrell. And Sonny used to come in, and he used to just beat me up, man. Like, I never got butt whoopings before, by anybody compared to that dude. And he's like, this guy named Chris Luttrell. He's the very first black belt out of
Jackson's.
Yeah, Jackson's Gaijutsu system. And I was like, okay. I was like, let's go have a meeting. He says they're getting ready to open up a gym. It's called Mean One MMA. And I was like, sure. I was like, let's do it. So I went and had a meeting with him, and we hit it off. There's gonna be 5 owners. I think it was Key Jardine, Chris Luttrell, Greg Richardson, Mike Winklejohn, and I think it was Keith's manager.
That was the original gym. Yeah.
Madrid.
Madrid.
Yeah.
And so the gym hadn't even opened yet, and so Luttrell's like, all right, I need you to come to Jackson's. And I had been to Jackson's like in and out before. The very first time I came here, I got my ass beat by Cowboy Cerrone. Like, wow. I had no idea who he was. And that was, I don't know, I felt like I got ranked in or something here. But
you're old school when Cowboy was nobody. And
I didn't know what
WEC
WEC was. I didn't know who he was, and I remember that day. I'll never forget that day. Anyways, we did my evaluation at the old gym over off of Acoma, and I did that for about a month. Yeah. And then we switched over. I did that for about 3 years. We just went through a lot of gym changes through him, and I'm never gonna hit on his coaching just because the coaching originated from Greg Jackson, and Greg Jackson he's a mastermind when it comes.
We're talking about Luttrell or
Luttrell.
The roots, the roots run deep, man.
The roots, and it's all very good, man.
Well, Luttrell's background was wrestling, the grappling part. Yeah, that he was one of the original black belts through Greg, but yeah, it's obviously 2 different things.
And he'd bring me in.
Don't forget the Godfather. Greg is the guy.
Yeah,
Greg and Wink.
And he would bring me in, especially when he was cornering like Carlos, when he was fighting George and stuff like that. So they would bring me in every Friday, and I would come in on Wednesdays, spar.
Baptized by fire, man. That was awesome. That was cool.
So I've been in the mix here at Jackson's pretty much my whole entire career, but never completely became like a Jackson Wink fighter until 3 or 4 years ago.
Yeah. And
I talked to Coach Wink, and I'm like, look, man, I was like, I don't have nothing against Chris Luttrell or anything like that, but I have, I need some consistency. I was in Bellator, and I actually came off one of my toughest fights, and I was injured, and I was like, I need better training partners. I need more looks, and we have a place up the street, and it was Jackson Wink, it was Jackson Winklejohn.
Yeah, it was a little
different. But
same thing. We just shortened it when we opened this place.
Yeah. So Coach Wink, we went and talked to Coach Wink, and he's like, you know what? He says, I've been watching you since coming up, because I fought on Holly and Key Jardine's card when Holly first started. I fought on 2 Holly's cards, and I had like a 16-second knockout, and then I had.
These are the boxing cards we're talking about.
No, these are the MMA. Okay. This is right when Holly just started.
We have a poster hang right there.
Yeah, with
Keith.
I was the very first fight on both of those.
Yeah, the babies. They look like little kids.
Yeah, man. I fought this Josie Boatwright. I remember, and then I remember fighting Brandon Trujillo. And one of them titled with a Tringle choke, and the other one I got.
Trujillo.
No,
Yeah.
you're a pretty household name right here, man. I know that
Yeah,
for sure,
yeah.
man. And Wink, I know, like Wink really likes you. You've been.
Well,
working
yeah,
with
the
him,
first
man.
time I started seeing you work out with Wink, like you said, about 3 years ago here, it was crazy. And you can always tell when Wink has faith in somebody when he's doing the one-on-ones with you. You've made it.
I love that approval, man.
You know what? I'll tell you what's cool is that about 16 years old, he was just getting started. He was Jackson's West, which is not too many people know about.
Yeah, the one up on Southern and Unser.
Yeah. And Coach Wink, I guess at that time, had seen something in Steve.
Yeah.
And we got him in a mid session with Coach Wink as a kid. He was,
Wow.
I forget where he was doing it. But anyway, he was one of his rotation, and Coach Wink usually had 10 guys on his rotation and stuff.
It still does.
All these guys were all UFC vets, but yet Steve had a spot.
Wow.
And so that didn't go over very well with a lot of people.
Yeah. It's like, who is this kid?
You know, but that's Coach Wink and his good heart and his eye.
And I would like to elaborate about this whole situation that just recently transpired. You know, with all that crap coming Wink's way, it's this is not right. You know what I'm saying? Whatever like people say, it don't matter. We're
gonna go there.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, Wink is a wonderful human being, man.
Absolutely.
And everyone
Absolutely.
that's talking shit, literally, you have no fucking idea.
There's always two sides of the story,
Of
man.
course.
You got to listen to both.
Exactly, and then to be put in this position where, you have such a character assassination,
Yeah.
for no
Well,
fucking reason.
Cowboy went on a platform that's like
Exactly.
the biggest possible platform you
Exactly.
can do on the Joe Rogan
And
show.
what Joe Rogan did and Cowboy did is not right. You have to listen to both sides. And I like what Chael Sonnen said yesterday. He said, there's no hero in this story. There's no hero. It's a business. It's a gym business. Fallouts happen. Things happen, right?
Yeah.
And there's both have some to say, and both need to be heard. And then on top of that, it's like, if it's all about money, loyalty, what is this about? Cowboy is fighting for money. It's competing for money.
Cowboy keeps talking about money. but
Money
yeah,
and loyalty is, when you always, be my French, be my French, be my French, be my French, everywhere, and not a single word about Jackson Wink, this and that. I mean, and it's a confusing situation.
I don't know
man.
a fighter that doesn't want to make money. Doesn't
You know
make
what
sense.
I'm
Or
saying?
coach.
Who isn't, this is a professional business.
Yeah.
And everything could have been worked out, without any type of escalation.
For me, I'm just like, all right, like, Cowboy can say whatever he wants. He has the freedom to do so.
100%.
He can do whatever he wants.
Yeah.
He can go on the biggest television show or podcast, whatever the case is. That's fine, man. But you know what? Maybe Rogan should ask Coach Wink or Greg to come on board
100%.
and also have that.
And we had the schedule.
And this is the part. Yeah, this is the part that people don't know about.
We had a schedule.
We were scheduled to go be on Joe Rogan's show. Greg and Wink, we were flying them out. Tickets were paid for.
Wow.
It was
Everything
agreed
was
to.
set up.
And then all of a sudden, a week, like 2 weeks before the show,
get a
Rogan
text
sends me a
message.
message saying, "I got to cancel.
Yeah.
I'm a friend of Cowboys."
Cowboys
yeah.
furious, and Cowboys my friend. So if you're a journalist, right? If you're a journalist and you're starting a beef like this, right? Usually it's like you want to get both sides of the story,
but
right?
you got Cowboy side.
Yeah, so it's kind of like, all right, man.
The right thing to do would have been to, okay, Cowboy, I have these guys on the show next week. I'm going to talk to those guys.
Yeah, why not?
And
Yeah.
then
Why not?
I already have them coming. And let me get their side, and we'll go from there. But
the most
Rogan
original,
cut us
best
off,
coaches in the world, period. You wouldn't want to have them on the show?
Yeah, I mean, honestly,
that
I'm
would,
like, bro,
that,
like,
that would have been a
Put 'em
hit,
on.
man.
Yeah,
Get
yeah.
Jackson and Wink together at the same
Yeah.
time. Joe, what is wrong, man?
Yeah, so he kind of screwed us over with that. But Roberto Villa just made a great point. We're going to be fine with or without Cowboy.
100%, man. Look at the vibes.
One
today,
fighter
man.
does not make
one
this
fight.
team.
This is an establishment, so people
Yeah.
understand. This is an establishment that runs so deep
Yeah.
and so far away that one single fighter, no matter how you want to look at it, is not going to take this down.
Yeah, I tell you
You
what,
know,
I'm amazed
we'll-
every time I walk in those doors.
With fighters, bro. No
Yeah,
matter how
it's
it is.
the amount of fighters and how everybody just gels together. The coaches, everybody's hugging each other, picking each other up, helping each other. You know, that says a lot.
Yeah.
And that's like you said, you know, it's a business, and businesses evolve. It's not going to be the way it was at the beginning.
100%.
You know, it's going to evolve.
And
And if you don't evolve, you'll be out of
You'll be
business.
left behind.
100%. And those
Exactly.
people
You know?
that stuck in the past trying to bring it down is like, oh, but then in the back, oh, gee, oh. Well, one day, back in the day, you were just like, you know how when they were attacking everyone, all the amateur fighters and the puppies and stuff, like, you were puppy yourself.
Yeah.
You were puppy yourself one
Yeah.
day coming up, right, Steve? We're just talking
Absolutely.
about you were 16 years
Exactly.
old, giving
Absolutely.
chances, wink, noticing your things.
Cowboy
like,
kicked your
and,
ass.
and you grew, and you grew, and you grew through the system, right? You grew through the system. You make a name for yourself. You get all these opportunities. You get this platform. We're all helping each other out, promoting each other, moving each other in the right direction. Because as a team, we're stronger, right?
Yeah.
And then
Exactly.
anytime it seems like anytime somebody tries to break it up and mess it up, we actually become even way more stronger.
Well,
So,
I see the division.
keep on
happening.
doing.
Yeah, I see the division happening from when we were on Acoma to come in here. People don't like change.
Yeah.
Mhm.
People don't like change, and it's not necessarily that it was a big change or a bad change or a good change. We still had the same group of people coming over to here.
Just
you know
in
what
a bigger
I mean?
building.
Just in a different building, but because
100%.
that was where all the blood, sweat, and tears happened. I was like, well, then we're gonna have to do the same thing here.
Exactly,
We're gonna have to do the
100%.
same exact
Yeah,
thing
people
here.
cutting themselves open every day.
And on
Yeah.
top of that,
Seriously.
we're going to give some more people the same
Yeah.
opportunity you
Yeah.
had when you were smaller.
Right.
Now we're
Exactly.
getting bigger. Now we're growing. We made the name for yourself. It's like if you're a fighter, right? You start somewhere, right? You're growing. Like Cowboy was nobody one day, and he became somebody, right? It was a progression, right? He wants to be somebody, right? You work for it. You fight for it. You want to make money, right? It's people say, well, everyone wants to make money. How else do you live and survive in this life, right? You have to make money.
Right.
Well, that's it. You know, I see
Expensive.
some of the comments. I have a hard time reading. I just have
It's
to
just so
shut
stupid.
it down.
It's stupid.
A lot of
like
these are gym
retarded.
owners, and you know what? They talk about loyalty. You know, there's loyalty until you don't pay your gym dues.
100%.
And then all of a sudden,
Yeah.
there's no loyalty.
I love
100%.
watching some of these
Like,
gym
what is
owners,
loyalty? Like, what is loyalty? Like, describe it. It's easy to throw a word out there and everyone latches on it, but loyalty works both ways, and loyalty is a huge, huge word. If I came up to you right now and we were like best friends, say, I give you $1 million fucking dollars, and then tell that guy to go fuck yourself, what are you gonna do? Fuck you, man.
Yeah.
You know, it's straight up. You know, maybe yes, maybe no, but you're gonna think very heavy about it, right?
That's right.
It's fucking $1 million. So it's like, I mean, don't abuse that. You know, we
Yeah.
all understand that. That's a business, man. Wink invested so much money into this to give a platform, an opportunity to so
Well,
many
and
young and hungry fighters.
And it's kind of funny because I was actually talking to Wink a little bit about this. Not we handle our business, but he's like, man, he says, I just want a place for my guys to train at. I want people to come in here. I want champions coming out of my gym. Like there hasn't been. There's been tons of champions
Hell
coming out
yeah.
of this place. And he says, I do this for the fighters. I love seeing my guys, being successful. I love being here. He says, because at the end of the day, if I wanted to, I could close this place down and I could go hang out at the beach and drink a beer
100%.
every
True
single
story.
day.
He's got,
And
he's
I'm
got
like,
money
man,
coming
thank you
in,
for
yeah.
this spot.
And
Thank
you know
for
what
this
he
spot.
says, like, because he says, and I tell him, Wink, I'm like, Wink, you won't be able to live without this, man. You can, man. What are you going to do? Fucking sit, look up the sky, man, sitting on the beach, drinking fucking pina coladas, man? You ain't going to be able to do that. You're a worker, man. Plus, on top of everything, he always says to man, like, if I fucking close down, I mean, I'm gonna ruin so many lives, man. He knows that, because so many people depend on this place. That's why I think whenever we're attacked or something happens, we all just rile up and then we become stronger, man. Just one big unit, you know what I'm saying?
That's the thing is that, like, you
and
got to
they can't do shit. They
like,
can't do shit, man.
Well, I'll tell you what, Jackson has a story to tell.
Hell yeah.
And those guys, they laid the foundation. Cowboy, Diego, Keith Jardine, it's an amazing story that you're going to carry on for the rest of your life, the rest of the life of the gym. It's that amazing story on how they all started. They started with no money, no experience, no formal training, and they built a dynasty.
Hell yeah.
And you have to give Cowboy and all those guys that respect,
100%.
Because these guys just wouldn't be here if that story hadn't happened. And so, I give those guys props. But again, like we talked about, the gym's evolving. It's a new wave of fighters that are starting to come in.
Oh, and exactly. You got to give these guys respect. Because
respect.
You looked up to the Cowboy, and now you got some of these amateurs looking up to you. Like,
Yes.
man, look at Steve, man. He's a badass pro. And they see you in there with Wink, and
But
can't wait till I get my time in there with Wink.
What was very
I was just
painful.
one of those guys.
Yeah.
What was
one of
very
those guys.
painful during this whole situation, and when it was like, fuck Coach Wink, fuck this, like, fuck the gym. Like, why? If you have a problem with somebody, take it up face to face. Why
it's
go
awesome.
publicly, and just drag? Especially as an older man, that dedicated his whole life, built this whole system, and then
stuff he does with the adaptive MMA program.
Yeah, so many helping so many people, donating so much time, so much money, so many resources to so many people.
And nowadays it's
to drag him through the mud like this just because you have that platform. This is so fucking wrong.
Well, it's not even that, but like people have this like fear to even just. I go into you and like, hey, Misha, I have an issue with you, and discuss it. You know what I mean? Like, you don't be going around, talking smack, through the grapevine. You know what I mean?
Especially social
media. Yeah, if you
got
got some issues with Coach Greg or Coach Wink, say it to him. You know what I mean? They helped you out. Respect that at least.
Exactly.
Respect that at least.
Plus, why would you okay, if you had a problem, why drag the whole gym through the mud? Why would drag everyone? You have so many friends here. You have the Hollies, John Jones, the Carlos, the people you've been training through all your life.
All these guys.
And that you became, together, and then to just throw them on everyone.
It puts tension even with the coaches. I mean, you got.
Then people choosing sides, and then this and then, and then breaking the team, and this and that.
And that's hard to understand too. I tell Steve, don't get involved in the drama. Just go to the gym, do your job, get your training in, and go home.
Yeah.
Don't hang out.
Sometimes it's just hard, not to get.
It has to be a job. If you're here, you should have a goal of either getting to the UFC, getting a belt. There's a goal, and you have to do everything you can to meet that goal. All this other stuff, all it does is bring you down. And I tell Steve every day, just focus, grow exponentially. Don't get involved in all that stuff, and 100%. He's a better person for that. He doesn't really
get involved,
deal with it too much.
We live, we learn, right? So it's like we're going in whatever.
But it does hurt when people talk about people that you care about.
Well, in the gym, I mean, the gym that you've bled in.
Because we call it like a safe haven, right, for us, right? So such a good. Even Holly said today, you know what? Says, I come here, we have this amazing vibe. She said that today in front of me. It kind of made me feel very happy, She says, whatever happens here is what I'm concerned. Whatever happens outside and all this bullshit that they talk about, I could care less. Yeah. We have amazing vibes. I come here, I'm seeing this, all this greatness happening. Today was insane, right?
Yeah,
so many smiles, loudness, like everyone
packed
training,
house,
practice, everyone together, just packed house, got UFC crews. That's what we live for, for good vibes, having good energy, man. If Holly, says that, kind of makes you feel good.
If you can still keep those guys in the gym saying great things about it, that means that there's still that there. You know what I mean? There's fire here in this gym
because they built that. Hollies of this world, John Jones, they part of this build of this Jackson Wing. So they, not just us trying not to get it affect us. Because if they have our back, if they here,
because at the end of the day, when they leave, we got a next group coming in. And who's going to be that? That's why that fire has to still stay in this gym. You know what I mean? You can't have division. You have to have that unity in here because if
we
not,
have that.
Yeah, and that's what's great is because you know what? We have these fighters coming up. And they're like on fire, man. They're trying to get to the UFC. Yeah, they're trying to make money.
Watching those amateurs at 12 o'clock is exciting, man. Yeah, they do. They have that fire in their belly.
Especially when you got like Holly or Carlos watching. I see some of them and they're getting pumped. They're trying to hit hard.
Yeah, I love it.
Joey's over there yelling at them.
Yeah, you see John kind of just sitting in the corner over there. He's just finished his training, or you guys are just cleaning up and out of the corner of their eye, they're making sure that you're.
But that happens because that was you. That was me.
That was you. Yeah,
that was me. When Coach Greg was around and I saw them working with Holly, and
worked a little extra hard.
Man, I got to push it just a little bit more because
show them.
What makes you stand out from the rest.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I totally understand that. That's what's cool about.
Well, they see it. Believe me, Greg sees everything. Wink sees everything. They know the. Hey man, we got to watch this guy. Did you see him today in practice? They start talking amongst each other.
And what I like about them is that they don't BS. You know what I mean? Wink's like, if you suck that day or something, he's gonna tell you.
Yeah, he sucks. He doesn't move his head.
Yeah. Yeah, he'll tell you. I'm like, and that's I appreciate that more than a pat on the back. You know what I mean? Constructive criticism to me goes a long way.
No, you have to. Nobody wants to be bullshitted. If you suck, tell me what to fix. Or if I don't have a chance.
Yeah, that's what I was going back to my dad earlier. I'm like, man, if I'm not trying to get in the UFC or make money in this, I'm gonna go get me a 9-to-5 that pays me a good, a pretty penny. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
Because this sport's no joke. As much as I love it, as much as there's even without the rest of the other stuff. You know what I mean? it's made me a better person. It's gave me
100%.
confidence. It's helped me as a person.
Likewise, man.
You know,
like I love training. And,
yeah,
you
it's
know,
so fun, man. I don't have to worry about it. Like you said, like earlier, like you don't have to worry about anything else. You just come in, and your main goal is to get better. Don't get choked out. You know, get more punches in than your opponent or your partner.
On your mistakes.
Yeah, man. It really built me as
That's
a
why I
character.
call it a safe haven. That's why
Yeah.
when you attack my safe space, you're gonna protect it, right?
Yeah.
And for us, this is our safe space, and we'll fucking protect it.
We're gonna
no matter
protect you
what.
guys. Yeah.
Wayne gave me a chance, just like he gave